So how did this
Okay.
unfold? This sounds
So yeah, so
hilarious.
this is my very first Hogwarts. This is 20 years ago. This is like 2001, right? So, or sorry, 2002. This is like almost 20 years ago. And we made a big splash at Halloween. We made a haunted house and everything. So the
Oh, you
Hogwarts
mentioned that
director,
before.
we were in her, we were still riding the wave of Halloween up into the Christmas holiday. And around Christmas time, they're like, oh, they needed a gimmick. So the gimmick was like the parents buy a present for their kids, the parents wrap it, they drop it off at the Hagwon kind of surreptitiously so the kids don't know that the parents dropped it off. And then Santa, quote unquote, your Hagwon teacher, delivers it in full, Santa regalia, the beard, the red suit.
Santa, you're so tall.
Oh yeah, right, yeah. And you're 25 years old, 24 years old. But we were like, I'm not doing the Santa suit. Like we drew a line straight right in the sand. It was like, I'm not walking around in a Santa suit. Sorry, maybe a hat, but I don't even think we did the Santa hat. But we did end up like, so the bus drivers would take the Hagwon teachers to the students' houses, and then you drop off the present to the kid and wish them Merry Christmas, and then go.
I hope you got paid extra for all that driving.
I don't know if we did. I just feel like
I should have negotiated, man. I would negotiate. I would be like, yeah, you want the Santa suit?
Yeah.
That's like time and a half.
Right, yeah, there. The Santa suit's an extra $100, and yeah, I mean,
and I'm skinny, man. So if you want me to stuff that suit, that's another $10. Yeah.
You want a real beard or the fake one? Yeah. No, it was the irony is one of the guys I worked with looked exactly like Santa. Like he had a big bushy white beard and white hair and heavy set guy. He was Santa. So
yeah, could have charged for that.
It was hilarious. Yeah, it was a weird. I feel like I wonder if like Hagwons were more gimmicky around the holidays 20 years ago than they are now. I just feel like maybe we talked about this before in a previous podcast, but it feels like holiday the season it's just every year it gets a little bit soft, a little bit lighter, a little bit softer. The intensity has gone down in the past like 10 years. I feel like in Korea. I don't know, what do you guys feel like as far as like just Christmas spirit and decorations and all that stuff?
I think I had more of definitely a more aggressive Christmas experience living in Itaewon, for sure. In the days leading up to it, it's in all the bars and cafes, and the people you're around too. There's more foreigners. More foreigners are more, well, they're approaching Christmas in more the way that you'd be familiar with coming from, like I would be familiar with coming from America. Whereas as I think we talked about in a previous podcast a little bit about the holidays, how Christmas is more of a couple's holiday here in the first place. So it also is in America, but yeah, it's just not quite the same. And in the last 2 years, this is being recorded during COVID, and this is we're coming up on the new year for 2022 here. So Christmas is pretty muted.
Yeah, that could be it too. You know what? I think it's also when you get married and you have a family, it's different. When I 20 years ago, I was,
you probably start doing it a lot more.
Well, the funny thing is we when my daughter was young, we tried to, kind of do a Christmas thing, and we did the presents under the trees and that sort of thing. This year my daughter wanted an iPhone 13. And so we bought it for like 2 weeks ago, and I'm like, that's your Christmas present. Enjoy it. And so that's it. Like, we're done.
Ho, ho, ho.
Christmas is done. Yeah. It's like, I think she's still happy about it. I mean, that's a pretty sweet deal. Not bad for Christmas.
I'll take it for Christmas.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. But we don't do that. We just don't carry the tradition. But when I was single, I guess maybe.
Do you have a tree?
Going to Itaewon. I do. My daughter decorated the tree.
You got the tree up?
Put it up. Yeah. What about you guys? Nice. Have you done any decorations around the house?
I had a tree last year. I had a full-size tree last year.
Oh, full-size tree.
Yeah.
Okay. But not a real tree. You do the fake tree?
Yeah, it was a fake tree.
Okay, yeah.
But
mine's fake.
It was from my girlfriend's one of her stores or one of her office or something. So it wasn't ever used in a home before. And then she was closing that location, and it was like, hey, we could have a Christmas tree this year. And I was like, all right, cool. And it like touched the ceiling. It was huge. It filled like a
nice
living room. It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
And then there's no place to store it. And it was just like, all right, we found out it's actually worth some money. These fake trees. Do you know this? This is a thing, I guess.
No, did you guys flip it on like
you get a few bucks for those, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah. So we turned around, we're like, let's get some chicken.
Merry Christmas to you.
Nice.
Yeah. So now we have a fig tree where the Christmas tree ought to be, that we pulled in from outside as the weather changed. So it's kind of a
lights on there.
Well, yeah, I'm going to.
Right.
But it's a fig tree that's going through the seasons, right? So it lost all of its leaves.
So it's Charlie Brown Christmas.
Yeah, it's completely bare.
Okay. Yeah. Right.
It's in this giant pot in the middle of the living room.
Right.
So that's what we got.
Yeah, there you go.
That's it.
Ours is mine's like a half, like a half tree. It's fake. And
my wife last year we went up to there's a mountain not too far from our house, and we pulled a couple of sticks and some pine cones.
Nice.
And we have like
arts and crafts.
Nice. It's my wife is very artsy, and she like decorated this stick, and we actually have like you buy a Christmas cake and it comes with like a little like cake topper tree, and so we like attach that to the stick. It's got like a couple of lights on it, but these are the same lights. Like they're not Christmas lights. They're not like the Christmas colors. They're just red, or I'm sorry, they're not red. They're just white lights. Like kind of like a yellow white light. And these are lights that we would just have in our room anyway, just for mood lighting. And so we've actually had the Christmas stick up since last year.
So what do you call the Christmas stick? Does it have a name, or is it like the Yule log?
No, it's just the wall decoration. It's just there.
You just
have a name
on.
It's not called like the Christmas stick of truth or nothing.
No, it is not the stick of truth, unfortunately.
If you're holding,
and then this year we've gone back to the mountain. We've got a couple of new, because the pine needles, of course, changed all colors to brown. So we've got some new green pine needles that we changed into it. New pine cones, but that's about it. So there's one very small thing. And my wife we do send Christmas cards home. She, again, is very crafty. So instead of buying Christmas cards, she drew like Christmas trees on it, and we sent those homemade Christmas cards that I sent home. But that's pretty much the extent of our Christmas.
You mailed those back to the States? You did the
Yep.
Wow. Okay. Now I feel bad. I feel terrible because I send my Christmas email letter or something. So
I don't send any gifts. That's where I feel really bad. I should send gifts to someone. I know some people would appreciate something, but we send cards.
I used to send the first few years, I guess the first half of the time that I've been here, so maybe like 5 or 6 years, I sent a physical package every year, a larger one that would go to my parents' house, then my sisters and their families, they could disassemble it and everything.
Oh, no.
I was much more active it was also a time when like my family we call the shots. There'll be like years where it's like, okay, we're going to do like Secret Santa type of thing, or gifts only for the kids, none for the adults, or just do whatever the hell you want, which I think is where we are this year. I think that's technically like the concept is like, don't feel bad if you don't want to, but go for it. You can buy me a car, you can buy me a coffee, you can F off, doesn't matter. We love you. And so I'm kind of into this now. Yeah. But during those early times, there was a lot more, it was physical packages. I switched to just buying things like on Amazon or like Alibaba.
Yeah, that's much better.
Well, it's just when you look at I hate to make it about money, but the cost for
shipping makes it not worth it.
Yeah, man. Like my mom, if you're listening, I love you, and please keep sending me awesome care packages because it keeps me going. But it is a little crazy. Like she sent this package, it's the size of like maybe a shoe box, maybe a boot box.
It's like $45 or something.
No. $80.
Oh.
And I mean, I can already read on the invoice what's inside of it. It's like I got a couple pairs of socks, some nuts, some beef jerky.
Right.
That's about it. And it's like $80.
Yeah.
But she likes to have that personal touch, and I love it. So, Mom, thank you.
my parents used to do that for my daughter, right? Like when my daughter was young, they used to send a box of packages and like a bigger box with smaller, presents in it. And it just got it got ridiculous. Like the shipping costs that were just more, you're spending more on shipping or equal to like what the toys and games inside of the box were. And so finally my mom just like sent a credit card to me and said, just use this card.
Well, nuts.
Yeah, give her she gets $100, or $200 on her birthday or whatever, and just take her shopping. Which now because she can, buy whatever she wants. She's, for the last several years, it's worked really well. It's just like, oh, you have this much money, and then she just, oh, I'm not going to buy anything right now. Save it. I'll use that money later. And so, but it's not. There's no. It's so calculated. It's not like.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not like the spirit of Christmas. It's more like a business transaction. It's like
yeah, right. So you're towing that line. It's like,
it's even worse with my brother, because my brother, I have a nephew in America, and then he has a niece, my daughter, and it's like I could send him, $100, and he sends me $100, or we could just save the energy and just give him 100 for my daughter, and I'll give my daughter the 100 for your son, and then just put it in the bank account and let them buy whatever they need, So it's just, but it's kind of so cold and there's no
transactional Christmas.
It is, right. It's just all transactional Christmas, but it's tough when you're overseas though, because it's not easy I can't just Venmo him money. I PayPal money to him. I don't have that I don't have a bank account in America, so it's very. I have to go to the bank and send money. That's crazy.
I think the Christmas cards Kevin's talking about, I think that might be the smartest idea. When I think about what I don't like about doing the Amazon thing, like I'll always pay for the, because you can always get the wrapping for, most sellers around this time of the year, you'll get, gift wrapping and a card. And so I did that. I guess I still do it, but there was a time when someone sent me something from Amazon here and I got the same treatment. It was wrapped. It's wrapped too nice. Okay, I'm just gonna say it. It's wrapped too nice. It looks like it comes from a factory, but it,
like a Christmas movie, North Pole.
Yeah, it's like
factory,
a prop,
right? Yeah,
it looks like a prop. Looks like a goddamn prop. And then when you get the card, the card's typed.
What about the font? Does the font the cursive?
Yeah, the font is like it's like Times New Roman or whatever. It's just there's no soul to it. It's like this little it's not even good card stock. It's like it's a piece of paper.
Right.
I
think you just discovered like a side business of wrapped, kind of askew or to make it look like it's actually authentically wrapped, so you can get it professionally or two different types of paper on the same present because you ran out of the roll. We
could hire children to do all the wrapping. So cheap labor is a brilliant business.
That'd be a good Hagwon class craft day. We're gonna wrap these presents, kids.
Wrap these boxes.
Just turn it into a little factory. Your own private business.
Small hands, they're very delicate.
Yeah.
Yes. So anybody listening that's going to or is working in a Hagwon with elementary school kids, here is how you get your Christmas bonus right here. Mix the cheddar.
Oh, good Lord. That's terrible. Yeah.
I do agree, Ryan, that the Itaewon area is definitely the most Christmas-y this year. I mean, again, I think there is a combination of it's COVID year, people just aren't going out, but I live nowhere. There's not many foreigners in my neighborhood. There's 3 or 4 people that I recognize on the street, barely. And I haven't seen a single Christmas thing, not one, walking around the neighborhood recently. Nothing at all. It's
Itaewon, but also commercial areas. If you go to
of course.
If you go to Lotte or if not even just the malls, but
the department stores.
A department store, yeah.
No, I was on the night it snowed really heavy. That's last Saturday. I was in Garosugo and I took 2 wrong buses coming home. I had my AirPods on. I was just spaced out. And so I ended up walking when that heavy snow was coming down. And if you're in a commercial area, Seoul turns it on. I mean, there's Christmas lights, there's trees, there's decorations, there's music. If you're around the shopping stuff,
Right.
which is, I mean, here it's not like you're going shopping at like, I don't know, Yonkers or something. I'm not trying to think of what the average mall is or something. And in America, like a strip mall, like the shopping in Seoul, you got to imagine this is one of the biggest cities on earth. It's like, you know, crazy, you know, all out. You could go to the mall to like, I don't know, I'm sure people do, like you grab a coffee and you go to enjoy the decorations, just like I would when I was a kid. We would go look at Christmas lights, you know. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I know Myeongdong used to do a lot. I think Myeongdong had like a really big tree. I think I actually saw a picture of it not too long ago on Reddit. They were comparing like before and after COVID, and like this year it's just like sad, small thing, no people around. Whereas in the past, I was like,
I think Myeongdong would be great. So if you have like if you're a couple and you're, you know, if you're a Hagwon teacher and you're dating, you know, someone or whatever, and you just want to have the Christmas spirit, I'd go to Myeongdong Station and take a walk just through that like shopping area. They probably do have some decorations there, right? I'm sure, because even in
probably still
Gyeongtaek,
something
where I
up
live,
at this point.
they've put these Christmas lights on these trees, and it just looks so beautiful. But I didn't notice it until I was, my daughter studies ballet and goes to Hagwon until 8:30 at night, and we're driving back, and then suddenly I just saw this like really beautiful presentation at this like corner. And so, and this is in a like, you know, I'm in the sticks out here in Gyeonggi. And so even, you know, cities like Gyeongtaek will pay people to put up some lights and stuff. So you can find, but it's all around those little shopping restaurant areas.
Right.
Yeah.
If you go to the bars and said Itaewon, you probably hear Christmas music.
Definitely.
Yeah. I've got down in our coffee shop, I've got a rotation of just Christmas, you know, cacao music, you know, like the Alexa version. I just have Christmas music playing, you know, nonstop. So just there are places where you can go and get some of that like spirit, Yuletide spirit.
Yeah,
you know?
like
You just got to look for it.
Like, what is it today? It says the 22nd. If you go down to like Gyeonggi-dan and Itaewon, if you go to Maloney's, Brandon, the owner bartender, he's probably got 2 candy canes hanging from each ear, like, you know, cheesing it up. Like those guys always go for it, and it's great. Yeah, it's still there, but yeah, I mean, I'm not that far away from it in Huam. I'm just around the corner, like just like 2 kilometers away. The O2 Village bus comes right through. If you guys know the you know the bus that goes on Hagonton, the HBC bus.
Oh yeah.
It comes right up my street.
That bus.
Yeah. So I'm like a straight shot there. There's a lot of foreigners in my hood now these days, but yeah, you don't see no decorations in this area. No none of the music, no theme or anything. I expect there'll be a little bit something more maybe on Christmas Eve, but
if it's not up now, I don't think there's going to be too much extra. There is a Christmas tree in my neighborhood actually that I thought of, but it again is there literally year round.
It's laziness at this point.
Like, I don't want to put those up again. It's like a long time.
Kev, I hate to tell you, but that just might be a tree, you know, maybe not a Christmas.
No, it's a Christmas tree with like lights on it. It's outside this small little villa.
So it's a pine tree with lights on it. Yeah, that's a Christmas tree.
It's a proper Christmas tree. It's not super decorated, but it's a Christmas tree, but it's there year round. I have no idea what that building story is, but yeah, it's there.
So I was looking at the article celebrating Christmas in Korea in 2021, and so this is an article by let me see the author's name here.
Just give a shout out.
I don't see the name actually. Sorry, I can't find it. That's all right.
It was written by a human.
Oh, sorry, Jon Dunbar. It does sound like a
guy, Jon Dunbar.
Jon Dunbar.
I feel like
good guy.
Yeah, great.
Writes great Christmas articles.
Friend of the podcast.
His Christmas articles are unbelievable. Yeah,
like top 10.
Yeah. He talks about like food. So if we go through this, like we kind of talked about drink already, because we said like Itaewon, if you go to the bar scenes, you're going to get some of that like Christmas spirit. And it's kind of fun too, is that, you know, people get a little bit, you know, toasted or whatever. They, you know, start to, the Christmas spirit kind of comes out, especially among the foreigner crowd who are kind of longing for that sort of spirit. But what about food? Do you guys do any do you guys do the Christmas cake thing, or do you have like a special dinner? Do you do anything like that? Like my family,
my wife actually did order a really nice cake this year. She told me about it and then we used to buy like a, what's it called, Stollen, I think. It's like a really heavy bread. There's like this Christmas bread, Christmas cake thing. In the past, we've heard that. And so we've done that, but otherwise, no proper like Christmas meals or anything. I'll probably have rice and kimchi.
Yeah.
Rice and kimchi
rice and
for
kimchi.
Christmas. Classic Christmas dinner.
Christmas colors, red and white, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, a little green.
Yeah, you need a little green on there too. Maybe some. Look, there's green kimchi, right?
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
that's perfect. Jack, what do you do? What do you do for foods?
We usually go out to eat though, but it kind of it used to be Outback. Like that just became our traditional place. So my daughter was just like, yeah, I want to eat some steak, and it'd be like the time when we had, because Outback is not. I don't know if people understand like family restaurants in Korea. Like Outback is nothing in America,
decorate
right?
Too, right?
What's that?
They decorate. Outback probably has Christmas.
Oh yeah. They'll do like some Christmas stuff, and they'll try to make it foreigner friendly. And but I was trying to say, like in Korea, like the family restaurant with TGI Fridays or Outback Steakhouse are kind of like nicer restaurants to go to, but in America they're kind of middle of the road. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's not a cloth napkin type of situation.
It's not a special occasion really to go to Outback that much, is it? In the States, like they're kind of everywhere and they're ubiquitous. And
I've actually never been to one.
Okay. Yeah.
And I know it's
just
weird
so gimmicky, like it's just
in Korea, it's a thing people do often. It's kind of like they're pretty common. They've really got a big footprint here, I feel like.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
And they do a nice job, but it's expensive, and not super expensive, but you'll spend $150 or whatever or something, and it gets a little bit pricey, and so it's not something we would do often, so Christmas is something, do something special. In recent years, because of COVID, we haven't really done that, and so that's our tradition. Just go out to eat, and we have a tree in the living room, and that's essentially it. Maybe a movie like afterwards, which is kind of weird to watch a movie on Christmas.
Well, Home Alone is if you want to talk Christmas movies, I mean, I'm sure all of us have seen Home Alone like countless times in America as well. But Home Alone is like the Christmas movie here in Korea as well.
It's called Kevin, right? Don't they call it Kevin? My kids like
no, it's called Naodojibe. It's called Home Alone, basically.
Okay.
But yeah, that's like on every year for Christmas. So like, I mean, so many times when I met people for the first time when I come to Korea, they'd be like, "What's your name?" "Kevin," and they'd do the like thing.
God.
But yeah, my wife was like, "I kind of want to watch Home Alone for Christmas this year," and I kind of don't because I've seen it 100 times. But it's Christmas, like it's very much a Christmas movie here.
You almost have to just like hold your nose and watch it, and then you'll like a half an hour later you'll just get into it again. This is just
I mean, it is a good film, actually. It's a classic, but it's very. It's surprising how big it was here in Korea. I didn't realize how much it came to here as well.
I think those like huge. Those high concept comedies really do resonate because they transcend culture. It's just the idea of like family goes on vacation and they leave the kid at home. Like that could happen in any country. It could be a village in Africa. It could be an apartment in Seoul. It could be a mansion in Chicago or whatever. It just kind of makes sense, like it's and then that movie is so bizarre anyway, because I think, I mean, I think the Family Guy did what would have really happened in that situation is they would just shoot him. Like the movie would be like 3 minutes long, just kill the kid. And I don't know.
But so that's the Korean Christmas movie. Surprisingly enough, is Home Alone. My favorite Christmas movie is Die Hard, but we can that's a different topic.
Yeah. I'm an Elf fan. I like Elf. That's
Elf
my go-to.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
That's also great.
It still holds up. Yeah. It's so good.
Yeah. I think in Korea, the Christmas movie, I don't remember ever doing one. My ex-girlfriend was very enthusiastic about holidays in general. And Christmas, she always just knocked out. Like
we're doing this, movie night. This is like
I felt like I wasn't in Korea anymore. That was a special period of time when we were together. Very enthusiastic about the holidays. Kevin's participated in at least one of those That's
Yeah, that was
yeah.
it was probably
Yeah, that wasn't neat.
Christmas
That
I've
whole
done in the whole time I've been here.
yeah, me too.
I love those
that was
people.
beyond.
There's
Oh
another
yeah,
tip. Like
brilliant.
if you work with a hog, you know, at a hagwon with someone like that, or a school, and you have a friend like that, just embrace that person. Let them go crazy, because they're
Yeah.
trying to recreate that feeling. And if you stay here long enough, you get jaded, you know, like us. You just kind of like, time goes by, and I've just gotten, you know, less enthusiastic every year for American holidays.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the past, notwithstanding that period of time, you guys know me. I love cooking and food, and it's, you know, was my job throughout undergraduate, even when I was in high school, just cooking. And now it's like probably my number one hobby. And so when holidays come around, I do like to cook, but it's not like a specific type of food. I'm not trying to like make it look like a classic Christmas dinner. It's just more of an excuse to have, like, you know, people come together or whatever. But we have done the last few years always mulled wine. Okay, so that's very Christmassy. I don't drink mulled wine. Like, I make it for other people. I don't really like it, but it gets made every year. This Christmas we're going to have a party, but I'm actually not going to be doing the majority of the cooking. I think I'll make some like little pâte à choux, some cream puffs for like dessert. That's the only thing I'm making. But yeah, the other people who will be doing the cooking, they're all Westerners, Europeans, and they're going to turn it up. They're going to go for the Christmas.
Yeah.
So,
and as far as like the food goes, what advice would you give to people? Would you say like cooking is the best way to go? Or because there's a couple of like, you can buy like a Christmas dinner from some of the hotels.
oh, right. Right. And I don't know, they still do that where you can buy, like, I know for Thanksgiving, maybe we talked about this around Thanksgiving time, but like you can buy, it used to be anyway. I've never done it, but I know guys who have done it, where you buy a turkey dinner from the base, and I think you get a whole bird in, like, you know, tins of like the aluminum tins of mashed potatoes, gravy, cranberry sauce. It's just the full on stereotype. And they bring it to your house. It's a pretty penny, but it's.
My wife looked up one for me for Thanksgiving, because that's like the one holiday that I still miss. And she found like a Thanksgiving dinner online, and we were gonna order it. She's like, I want to get this for you, but it was like an 8-serving, an 8-person meal.
Was it
and
from the base? Was it American?
No, it wasn't. It was not.
Okay.
At this point, it's just there's just other places that are selling it, but it was too big. It was, you know, food, and there's only 2 of us. So we're
how
like,
much money was it though? Like what were they charging?
It was quite a bit. It was, that's the other thing as well, is I think it was like $40 or $50 per person times 8 people. So it's gonna be like $400 or so. It was a lot. So I mean, if it was like 200, we probably would have just done it anyway, just because I like Thanksgiving food. We could just, you know, freeze it. But it was like, yeah, $400 or something. We're just like, no, I like Thanksgiving, but not that much.
You could go to like a hotel buffet for that much, you know, like and just
they could do a lot more than
yeah. That's
including
that's
the hotel
pricey.
for the night.
This guy, do you guys know these apps are Wadiz, like WADIZ? I don't know what that is, actually. I've never used that.
I think that's like Kickstarter for Korea.
Oh,
but if they're selling food, then no. So maybe it's a bit different.
It said Wadiz, Coupang Eats, and Market Curly. Those are the 3 choices. Where it says you can order like a Christmas feast through those apps and delivery service. So that's like another option, is if you get enough people together, it's not that expensive, you know, $40 or $50 per person. It's like insane.
And if you've got like
kind of a really fun idea. We talked in a previous episode about pension trips in Korea. So if you've got a group of even just 4 people, if you know, you've got a small tribe, or if you've got, you know, 4 to 20 people, get into figure out how to get a pension, or listen to our episode. We'll talk about it. But do a pension trip and order one of these setups, and boom, you got a full-on Christmas party up in the mountains. That could be amazing.
And I mean, and now it's become so, I mean, they deliver everything to you. I mean, like, you literally don't have to do anything anymore. You just have to pay, and they bring it to you. It's also you know, if you want like a chicken, go to Costco. They still sell the full rotisserie chicken for like $6 or something, $7.
I've done that.
Ridiculous.
I've gotten like the biggest chickens I could find and like dress it up like a turkey as best I can.
Yeah, right, right, yeah.
Everybody
It's like,
squint, you know.
yeah.
I know this is totally off topic for Korea, but did you guys know that in Japan, KFC is like the #1 Christmas place?
No, that's
They lock that in.
Apparently KFC, it comes from like, a misplaced, like they wanted to do poultry and stuff, and so it became KFC. But I remember reading somewhere online that if you want to order KFC for Christmas Day, it's like a 6-month waiting list or something. Like you have to reserve like months ahead of time
just to go to KFC
for Christmas.
Wow.
No, I don't know if it's go to or bring it back. Like I think it's takeout actually, but don't quote me on that. But yeah, this is just something I've seen on the internet.
Wow,
So
that's wild.
Way to go, KFC. They cornered that market.
Right. The Christmas in Japan market.
They're killing.
Don't even try to challenge them.
Yeah, jeez.
Supremacy.
That is actually kind of interesting now that I think about it, because like Japan then has some kind of like weird Christmas tradition. And in Korea, I can't think of anything other than that it's a couple's holiday.
And the Christmas cake. That's the weird thing. The
Christmas cake.
Yeah, because like if you got a Père Baguette and two
there's tons of cake places.
They're all decorated in a Christmas like like a Christmas scene, right? Like a little tree.
Actually,
and stuff.
This might be my one chance. This might be my exactly. And this might be my one chance to give this shout out, because this came up tonight actually at dinner. Cakes in Korea. I want to go on the record somewhere publicly, because like, okay, Paris baguette, tout le jour, they get a bad rap among foreigners because they're not like the greatest breads. I mean, let's be real. Paris baguettes are bad baguettes. They're not good. Paris croissant makes good baguettes, but that's a whole nother, we could do a podcast on that. Yeah. But anyway, the bread in Korea on average is pretty mediocre, general bread. But I want to say to all of those businesses I just slandered, your cakes are amazing. I really think like Korea has some really classy cakes for the price too.
Yeah.
So if you need a cake at like the drop of a hat, you just need a cake, you can go outside and you don't have to go very far and you can find a beautiful cake. You don't have to go to like a specialty store.
$20. You got a beautiful cake. Now here's the thing about Korea. I think this is related to Christmas because we have the Christmas cake, so we can do a cake talk here a little bit. When I first came to Korea, I found the cakes were the thing that's different is that they emphasize different flavors, right? Like the emphasis in Korea is on the butter, and the emphasis in the States is on the sugar. So the cake is much less sweet in Korea, which as like as an American, I was like, this cake is. It doesn't taste so sweet. It's almost like a buttery flavor, but that's kind of the preference here. If you think of like the flavor profile of like duck and stuff like that.
Along with the butter, I think.
Yeah.
It's a very cream cake country.
Yeah.
Some nice alliteration.
But what I like about it is right. I like that the sweetness isn't so much. I feel like it kind of dresses up the cakes a bit, but they do also some other stuff that's really amazing. Like if you look at the glazed fruits and things they put on cakes.
True.
I know this is probably a divisive issue among a lot of people, but the goguma is
sweet potato.
Sweet potato on a cake I think is great. I love sweet potato cakes.
Yes, I do too.
You mean like you don't mean sweet potato, you mean like sweet potato, like the puree kind of stuff, right? Like
yeah.
You're
like
talking about the sweet potato mousse, basically mousse cake, right?
Yeah.
That is it's weird how I think when I first came here again, I was like, I didn't like it, because it was unfamiliar. But as time has gone by, I've come to really enjoy duck. Like it's just a much
cake.
And Korean's cakes and like you said, the goguma pizza, I'm down with it. Like
it's not just these big chains either.
Sweet potato pizza.
If you're out there looking for your Christmas cake this year, and you're new to the Korea scene, you don't need to only go to Tout le Jour and Paris Baguette. There's specialty shops like Billy Angel. Do you know this? You guys know this one?
I don't know that one.
They're all over the place. They specialize in just cake, and I'm sure they probably do half their sales this week. for the whole year. I mean,
there's a surprising amount of cake places
and
around.
Their cheesecakes, I would say, is some of the best I've ever had. They have a lot of pretty much everything I've had from there is amazing. The red velvet's too sweet, but otherwise, yeah, that's just like, if you're looking for something good, you're gonna pay a little more, like maybe $30 for, you know, a full size cake. But yeah, if you want to do Korean Christmas, that's where I would go.
I think the cake culture has a lot to do with the gift culture, like gifting culture of Korea, right? You don't show up at somebody's house empty-handed. So here's a tip for people: if you're invited to your Korean friend's family's house for Christmas dinner, then something that would be kind of cool, that would make you kind of look like a like a part of the society, would be to show up with a cake.
Oh yeah.
So you buy the cake, you bring it, and it's like, oh, I bring the dessert, and then you don't have to mess with like the box of apples and everything. You could just do the cake. It's so easy. It's everywhere, and it's totally acceptable as a gift. Like, people are really happy to get a cake.
Yeah, man, that's a really good point. I hadn't thought of that until right now, the way you described that. Kevin, would you agree with this? Like, in your life, when have you eaten more cake, before or after coming to Korea?
Yeah, there probably is more cake here in Korea that just happens spontaneously.
Yeah, cake just happens, man.
It
like
just happens.
You'll be at a meeting and someone's like, "Hey, I brought a cake." Like,
right.
That doesn't happen back home.
No, and it's a lot. It has a lot to do with the don't show up empty-handed. So what is an easy, quick, way to to bring something and that looks nice too? It has a nice presentation. That's got to be the cake culture. Is it just like another way to bring a gift, which 100 years ago would have been duck, steamed duck and something, but now it's a much easier, user-friendly version.
Thought of it. I hadn't thought of it. I've got a drawer that's like filled with disused birthday candles, champagne poppers, and plastic knives.
Yeah.
It's all from people bringing cakes.
Yeah. And those and that plastic cover on there, and it's easy to recycle. It's great.
Yeah, so I know it's not a Christmas topic, but Jack, you're talking about how Korea often is like you bring things to like occasions, of course. Yeah. In the States, you'd like bring a bottle of wine or something is a pretty common thing.
Yep.
You guys know, of course, what you bring to someone's housewarming party, right? I love this thing in Korea.
Oh, the toilet paper.
Exactly. You bring a big ass bag of toilet paper. So that,
right. Something they can use, right? Like something for the house, like detergent or something would be okay too. And
I remember a buddy of mine did a housewarming party years ago, and he invited only like a handful of people. It was like me and a few other Koreans, and everyone brought toilet paper for him. He had like 5 bags.
So he was like COVID ready then at that moment.
Oh, this was many years ago, but yes.
Oh, okay. Apparently that's what Americans
move in a new place, and like you're busy moving things, and what are you going to forget? You're going to forget the TP,
Yep. Right. Yeah, you're good. But yeah, so yeah, cakes definitely are a Christmas thing. And like I said, I mean, we've got a Christmas cake coming. My wife found a special one online that she is excited for, so she ordered a Christmas cake this year.
That sounds good. So we talked about like going for a walk in the shopping areas. I think we kind of covered like what you can do at Christmas. What do you guys have, like a New Year's story? Like any New Year's experiences or anything? Like, because when I celebrated New Year's, like now my wife and we go to bed at like 10:30 on the 31st. Like I can't even make it to midnight. It's not even possible.
I think New Year's, I mean, I still do New Year's, and like we just stay up until midnight, and then we just like kind of hang out. And I've done the like New Year's in Hongdae and Itaewon and stuff like many years ago, of course, as well. But I think one really interesting thing about New Year's that's very different from the States to here in Korea is, although the 12 o'clock time is important here, more important is waiting for the first sunrise in Korea.
Oh, yeah. I've never heard of that before. That's interesting. Do you stay up all night, or do you get up early?
Yeah. So like I remember last year actually seeing on the news that it's not just the first sunrise, but a lot of people go out to the sunrises in the east. They go out to the East Sea and watch the first sunrise coming up over the ocean. So it's like the first sun of the year hitting the country. So I mean, if you're in Seoul watching the sunrise, I don't think it's quite as important, but people will travel out to the east to watch the first sunrise come up. And last year, I remember, because it was COVID, they didn't want people gathering. So they were trying to close off the beaches and things like that. And still people were gathering because they wanted to see the first sunrise.
Stop looking. Don't look. Don't look at the sun. Turn around.
Oh yeah, don't look at the sun. Yeah, I mean, people are they're like, oh, it's a good sunny, it's a clear day is an important one because you can see the sunrise as opposed to being cloudy and stuff like that. So sunrise is a very important thing. Again, not for everyone. Not if you're in the city, you're generally not going to stay up for it. But I know like it's like a lot of people do travel to the East Sea to
just for a sunrise.
to watch the
That's
sunrise.
kind of funny. Like I don't think you get Americans to travel like 2 blocks to watch sunrise, could you? Like let alone travel all the way to the East Sea.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't happen in America because the East Sea is, like the East Coast of America. So if you're living in, California, you can't do it. But if you're in Seoul, you can go to the East Sea in just a few hours.
I had a tradition, not a tradition. It was, I wanted to make it a tradition, managed to do it once. One of my, I'm taking
Start a tradition.
Well, there was the idea, and like maybe it could still work, but I got discouraged the second time I attempted it. So the inspiration comes from a friend who I was not with on New Year's Eve. He was with, I think, his girlfriend and maybe some other people, I'm not sure. But it was his idea to just go into a random apartment building and try to get onto the roof. Because if you've ever lived in one of these, like, these average 20-story buildings that are all over Korea, these apartment buildings, a lot of them you can get on the roof without much trouble. Like it's open.
Yeah.
So he had New Year's Eve on the roof. So the next year when I heard about that, I was like, man, I got to do that. So the next year I did that and it was awesome. So we brought a bottle of champagne and we watched the sunrise from a rooftop in Gangnam.
Nice.
And yeah, so the next
year
year
go to like a random building.
Yeah. First one. It was all open. And so I probably shouldn't be encouraging this on a public podcast. Like, hey, break into buildings is the best idea with booze.
Yeah, please don't do
on
that.
New Year's Eve in a foreign country.
Yeah,
it's a great idea, guys. So anyway, I tried it again the next year, and I think we tried 2 buildings, and they were both locked. We couldn't get through. It was like this. Womp womp.
They heard about you from the year before.
Could have been, but I don't think I went to the same building, but maybe I did. But that was a kind of a magical moment. That was cool.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think like
thing in Korea is, of course, there's the in the States there's the dropping the ball in New York, right? My hometown, actually, just a funny side note, it's a, like I've mentioned before, it's a small hippie town in the mountains, and from our tallest building downtown, which is 3 floors, they drop a giant lit pine cone. But here in Korea, there's a giant bell that they ring down at City Hall. Right? Have you guys seen that on TV?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I probably have.
Never gone
like,
the
City Hall is where everybody congregates on Christmas Eve, right? They have like concerts and stuff like that.
New Year's.
Oh, sorry, New Year's.
Well, yeah, probably.
New Year's Eve.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a huge, like, I mean, it would be the equivalent of the ball drop in New York. There's, hundreds and thousands of
and I would say
there.
probably like going to that would not be that much fun. Like I wouldn't.
No, agreed. I wouldn't want to go there.
Enjoy, like if I on New Year's Eve, I'd probably go to other places, Hongdae, Itaewon, or something like that.
Yeah, but it's something just to be with. It's the equivalent. I mean, why it's the same reason that people go to see the ball drop in New York City. They want that crazy experience of millions of people.
And all those people are not from New York. They're all tourists. Because if you talk to a New Yorker, they would never go to New Year's Eve.
Fair point. I think the bell ringing at City Hall probably is a lot of Seoul lights.
I think it is. Yeah, it looks like a lot of young, like college kids and stuff like that. But you see like Ajimas and Ajishis there too.
Oh yeah,
so, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder what goes on this.
Last year they still did it as well, but it was just mostly all on TV, which I imagine will be this year the same thing. We actually turned that on last year. We managed to find a streaming site somewhere, find it on some news site, I think, and they were streaming so we could watch that. But they still had it going on. They still had like some celebrities like ring the bell. And when I'm saying ring the bell, is like imagine one of these giant bells outside of like a temple where it's like bell shaped, but they've got like this huge wooden like a battering ram kind of thing.
That's
that they
cool.
like pull back and boom.
So they kind of did like
a
little like cultural throwback.
Well, that's what they always do. They always ring that every year. But then last year they told the people don't arrive. They're like we closed it down. There's no mass gathering of people, but they still did the bell ringing. They still did the like celebrities ringing the bell. I think last year they had Pengsu, just that giant penguin suit guy, which is pretty famous.
Oh yeah, the Pororo's competition, right? It's like
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, there's like
so
2 rival penguin characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to admit, Pinksu is actually pretty funny. I kind of like Pinksu.
That's another topic, actually. I could do a
That is
whole hour
another
on
topic.
Pororo. Yeah.
Yeah.
But so like if you want just like a rip roaring, New Year's, you got to go to a bar, like just
But yeah,
one of
yeah.
the,
Go to Hongdae, go to
yeah,
Gangnam, something like that.
yeah, and they'll do the countdown and everyone will go crazy, and yeah. But if you're looking for a more cultural experience, then yeah, something like going to what was it? It was Seoul Station or
It's the City Hall
City Hall.
area.
Sorry. Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how cultural. I mean, reading the Bell is definitely going to be cultural, but it's going to be. There's just so many people. Again, during normal times, not during COVID, but there's so many people there. It would be just chaos.
Yeah.
But I mean, it'll be a story. It'll be epic.
Well, that's another thing we didn't talk about for New Year's Eve, which we probably should mention. I haven't gone in years now, but because I'm old, that's just the fact, man. I'm 43.
Yeah, same.
And I drew a line in the sand one day and I said, you know what, you're now middle age, you got to accept it. But Korean clubs are famous.
Yeah.
For good reason. They're insane. And New Year's Eve, it's definitely a place to be if you're into clubs, being in Seoul or any.
You want to go dancing? Yep.
Not even Busan, but also Busan. There's so many awesome clubs if you want to dance your ass off and party like it's the end of the world. Korea knows how to do it, but not if you're 43.
Agreed.
What did Chris Rock say? You don't want to be the old guy at the club, like you don't want to be that guy, it's just I don't know. No, thank you. Yeah. That's terrible.
I don't know. I'm not much for like shoulder to shoulder crowds. Like I like a big crowd. I like the energy. Like I like going to see live music and stuff, but yeah, too many sweaty bodies too close to me, and it's just I just don't want to be there. And yeah, again, I'm old. I said it 3 times.
I was much more of a bar person, little conversation. All right, let's finish up. Best Christmas song. What do you think? Like, I know this has nothing to do with Korea, but my pick is the Pogues, Fairy Tale in New York. I think that's the best Christmas song ever written.
I don't think I know that one, actually.
You guys know that one? Are you familiar? I can't remember who sings. Is it Shane McGowan? I think is the singer, and I can't remember the woman's name, but great song.
I like the band Low.
No. What's the?
They're an indie band. They're just a 3-piece, like kind of shoegazer, real mellow. I was just talking in a Marco Polo with a buddy about this. It's kind of funny that you just brought this up again, but they made this one song called Just Like Christmas, and now that's like a commercial song. I've heard in department stores and stuff. Yeah, I've heard in a taxi cab here. Not too.
They didn't write it as like a carol. They just wrote like it's a Christmas themed song. But
I think so. Maybe
cool...
actually, I think they made a whole Christmas album. Now I think about it. Anyway,
nice. Low, exactly. Just Like Christmas. And Kev, do you have a favorite Christmas song?
My favorite Christmas theme song would probably be Weird Al Yankovic, "The Night Santa Went Crazy."
Okay. Nice.
Well done.
You should definitely look that one up. It's a classic. There's also an extra gory version of it, by the way. There's 2 versions. I'm a pretty big Weird Al fan.
Oh, nice.
There's a normal version and an extra gory version.
That you were into Weird Al doesn't surprise me, but Weird Al is cool now. You know what I mean? Like he went through.
I'm glad that doesn't.
He was cool, then he wasn't cool, but now everybody loves Weird Al again.
Cool.
So yeah,
he's always been cool. I saw him in concert like 3 or 4 times back when I was in high school. I've been a Weird Al fan since way back.
3 or 4 Weird Al concerts. Nice. Was he wearing a fat suit? Was that like the? I'm fat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Oh yeah, he has a special fat suit that he can put on in 3 minutes. When he did it for the video, it took 3 hours to put it on. Told you, I'm a Weird Al fan. I know all the trivia.
Oh man.
So yeah, The Night Santa Went Crazy is a fun, an off-topic Christmas song, but it's fun. Check it out.
That's great. This is great because I've only heard the song that I recommended. I've never heard the other 2 that you guys suggested. So I'm glad we didn't just get like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Yeah, actually, I don't know either of those. You guys should send me the links to them later so I'll look it up.
Yeah, I do. I'll tell you what, though, I do love the Bing Crosby, David Bowie Little Drummer Boy rendition. That's
that
a
is
fun
classic,
one
actually, as well.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I haven't heard that one in years, actually. It's not one of the main like radio ones.
It puts me back into Christmas spirit because it's like, you know, it's it's just, it has that nice that feeling of like 80s Christmas or something.
Yeah.
But, yeah. You guys have any final words you guys like to add here at the end? Or
I said it all.
Yeah, we covered it, man. We talked about the holidays, Christmas, New Year's. If you guys could do us a solid, give us a good review on Apple Podcasts, and you can visit our website, thesoulpatch.com. And if you want to contact us, if you got any ideas for topics, or something you guys want us to research and talk about that's Korea related, send us an email at thesoulpatch@gmail.com, and that's SEOUL. And we'll catch you on the patch next week. Thanks, everybody.
Ho ho ho.
Ho ho ho.
Merry Christmas.
I'd like to pay a couple respects to the people that made me what I am today.
Docking gear.
It's all my love. It's all my love.
The quiet man.
It's all my love. It's all my love.
Dopamine. Jim.
It's all my love. It's all my love. It's all my love.
The brain.
It's all my love. It's all my love.
Hey, Bobby. Let the bass go. Call me an eater, call me a dominant. Long face.
It's all